Yeah, he's back, guys. We got Trey back.
Yeah.
We picked him up from Spirit of Halloween.
Yep, I'm back now. Halloween was shit. Guys, don't go there. When October rolls around, hide in your houses.
I mean, don't you do that normally? Because how else do you give candy to trick-or-treaters? Like,
give candy to trick. Who talking like you don't go trick-or-treating at the age of 26 like a normal human being?
I mean, like I could.
Yeah.
Just walk up all bearded and be like, yo, trick or treat.
I'm dressed. I'm actually. No, you have to make it look like you're two kids in a trench coat.
Yeah.
So with your other hand, you're like, what, holding a second pail out from like
outside
of the trench
holding
coat.
a second. Yeah. Oh, I'm
You use your
about
ventriloquism to be like, and
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah, you can just put like little doll hands at the end.
Yeah. No, I like how
The
this is going.
sleeves.
I like how this is going. I like how this is sounding.
Sounds like a good way to go to jail, honestly. Go straight to jail. Do not pass go.
For pretending to be two kids in a trench coat. I don't know. Isn't it usually like the opposite? Like,
See, I don't know. I feel like it would get somebody to call the police on you. At least, like,
yeah. Maybe.
I would call the police on you. I don't know if it's illegal to run around. I'm not a scholar of law. I don't know if it's illegal to pretend to be two kids in a trench coat, but it should be.
But I think it is.
I mean, yeah.
Anyway,
Speaking
this
of
is
illegal,
entertainment podcast. We talk about entertaining things
Yeah,
here
I
on
was gonna say-
for podcast.
speaking of illegal or things that should be illegal that aren't, Netflix should not be allowed to show half a fucking show that's been done for a couple of months and then
Right?
say,
Oh
oh,
my
hey, there was
God.
season 1.
Netflix and their relationship to anime is something that I will never understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't harp on that too much because I think this is literally the dozenth time I think I've complained about this, but it's relevant again because I guess I'll take the lead this episode because I just did. But I watched Carol and Tuesday this last week. Basically, it's the first core of what was the first season.
Mm-hmm.
It's
So it's like
12
what,
episodes.
12 episodes, yeah.
It is 12 episodes. I will say, especially compared to how Netflix did it with Baki, this was a much more like natural. This almost would have felt like a season.
More elegant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was
kinda,
it
like,
made?
wraps
It
things
was it.
up.
It wasn't made for Netflix, right? It was made.
No, it was not.
Okay.
Yeah, this is one of the ones that Netflix like got the licensing to the dub for.
Okay.
So, and the dub's also really good. I'll kind of lead in, but people who don't know what Carol and Tuesday is, you guys are both aware of it, right?
I am aware.
Yeah.
Vaguely.
It's a not. I wouldn't call it a musical. It's a show about people doing music, and so there is some singing in the show. The show it's by the director of Cowboy Bebop, first of all.
And it's animated by Bones, right?
Yeah, it's Studio Bone, so it's the Cowboy Bebop Space Dandy special, and it's an original work. So
it definitely looks like it. It is also very pretty. I've watched a few clips. It's a very, very, very well made show.
It's a very pretty show. I like all the characters a lot. The dynamic between the two main characters, especially Carol and Tuesday, shocker, is right. I think their dynamic is really well. There's actually, I think the scene that really got me to like them a lot is, but after they start doing music together, there's this really cool scene that they make where they just start like, I can't remember the word. What's the word when you just like start
like jamming out? They're just
like jamming out in like a laundromat.
Yeah.
Like they're just
drumming
I
I saw that in the Gigax video. I think that was.
No, yeah, there's like the one where they're just like using like whatever's around to start, and then like there's like the awkward guy watching them who then kind of starts to do it, and then he's like, "Hey, that's weird," but it's so well done.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would highly recommend the show.
Yeah, I like the art style. Art style is very nice. I will definitely check it out. It's not really a genre that I typically like, but I mean...
Yeah, I mean, the only other show that I think kind of falls in the same vein, and I don't even think it falls in the exact same vein, is Your Lie in April, I watched.
Okay.
Which, have either of you guys watched Your Lie in April?
No.
Not yet.
That is a sad fucking show. Let me leave
Yeah,
with that.
That's why I haven't watched it.
Yeah, that show is a gut punch. And it's another show. It focuses on the music, and You're Lying April and Carol and Tuesday too. I just love when really good music is in shows.
Mm-hmm.
And like
I can
when
agree
they do,
with that.
yeah, when they do very cool things, and it's good music, and it's also very not poppy, if that makes sense. Like
it's like very like it's not just like the standard shit.
Yeah, it's not like I think like K-On! Kind of comes to mind as the example, or like any idol show.
Yeah, like it's not just like J-pop.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it's good. It's really good. Y'all should watch the show.
Yeah, I intend to at least check it out. Again, not the genre I typically go for. I don't know why. Anime about making music I just don't enjoy. I'm not entirely sure why.
Well, there's not that many about actually making music. Like, there's some that have music as a framing device, I'd say, but like...
Yeah, it's not like... usually it's not about the music itself. It's usually like they make music and then this is a show.
Yeah.
Like, usually a drama center, but with the cast that makes music. But I think that's usually why I don't like it. I don't like dramas that much, especially anime dramas.
I guess I would go a step further and say just about any media, not even just anime, that is about making music is...
Yeah, I don't...
Yeah.
But I might have a slightly different perspective there.
Yeah, you got a little bit of the insider.
It just becomes about, like, inner drama. It always happens. It's like, oh, well, it's what about the band, man?
Yeah.
Main character falls for girl that other main character likes, and what about the band? We lost the sound.
We gotta get the band back
We gotta
together.
get the band back together. Stop snorting that cocaine.
Yeah, no, that does not do much of that. Wait, what shows are you watching with? Like, yeah.
I don't know. I kind of went into one of those the stories about musicians. What do you call those?
Rockumentaries.
Yeah, like those kinds of Those are all kind of the same sort of deal. I kind of mix the two. But anyway, good show. How close does it get to Cowboy Bebop? You think? Cowboy Bebop, your famed masterpiece. On that pedestal.
I mean,
how close?
I can't judge it yet, Trey, because I gotta wait I think until like next year for the other half of the show.
Yeah, true enough.
Yeah, so it's good. I want to see what else it'll do, especially because the end of this one felt a little too happy for me.
All right, yeah. So about 1/3 of Bebop, you think?
Yeah, like a beep.
What a beep? Yeah, a beep. A beep out of Bebop. Yep.
It's got a beep out of bop.
Anyone else smell burnt toast? But anyway, I think we talked about Cannon Busters, but I watched more. It doesn't get better.
Oh. Okay, great.
We're just talking about Netflix anime. It doesn't. I tried so hard. I tried so hard to like that show. It doesn't get better.
That's not surprising, but also kind of sad.
Yeah, it's very confusing to me because they seem to waste their really good animations on the most random shit.
Yeah.
Which I don't really understand because there's okay, so like this is not really a spoiler, but like there's a really impactful scene with the main character, with the robot girl, the prince she's looking for. Is an impactful scene that happens as a flashback, and it looks like hot, steamy garbage. Like the animation quality like tanks for like no reason. I don't really understand. And then like literally 2 episodes later, like the fucking nobodies from episode 1, that gang with like the spider with like the spider leg dude with the shotgun.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so like they meet a bunch of ladies out in the desert, and then like they have like this super cool animation where this lady like zooms in on him and just punches him in the gut like from half a mile away, and it looks amazing. And I'm just sitting there like, why him though? Like, what purpose did that serve? That character was a nobody. Like, It's a cool animation. I'm glad they showed it, but also also the main character never gets any better. Like he never learns anything.
Of course,
just gets to be garbage and continues to be
yeah,
garbage.
he's just a garbage person who only thinks about himself, and he just never learns anything. The only reason he ever like helps anybody is mostly by accident. Like he like accidentally helps people, but it's just I don't know, man. Like I was kind of hoping that he would learn something, but like I wouldn't want to help those robots either. Also, they introduce characters that just like are there for an episode, then they just peace out, and it just really confuses me. Like there's a samurai character that they introduce, and he's really cool. He like slices up some robots or something, and then like literally the next episode, he's like, "I have fulfilled my purpose. We will meet again someday," and he just like walks off into the sunset. And I'm just like, "What? Why was he here?" What was his
My
purpose?
job here is done.
My people need me. I learned a lot. We can think of all the things we learned along the way.
Oh goodness, yeah, that show, the first few episodes were not great, which is sad because I liked the animation for the most part.
Yeah, animation was decent and like decent to good, and the art. I love the character design is amazing in that show. Very the best part about that show by far is the character design, which is what drew me into it.
Yeah. And they had such interesting characters that they could have done interesting things with the story, and it just didn't.
They just didn't. It just really sucked.
Yeah.
It just really, really sucked that they just didn't do anything with it. And from what I hear, it's changed hands quite a few times. Like it's not anywhere near the source material.
Oh.
Like it's been through like 3 or 4 different animation studios. So that's probably why it seems like such a discoherent mess.
Yeah, that could be.
It's a real shame, but I wouldn't recommend watching it personally. Maybe you'll just go to YouTube and look up the action scenes that are animated well. I guess like if you really want to see the action scenes, like you can just go look them up on YouTube. I guess.
Yeah. Well, I've got something here that is actually something I will recommend.
Ooh, okay.
For this week, which is Netflix's new The Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance.
Cool.
Yeah. Does it live up to the hit strategy game?
Yeah, the hit strategy game. Yeah. It based off of hit strategy game Dark Crystal.
No, that's a real thing, Trey.
I know it's a real thing. I've seen that.
That still hasn't been released for Switch, I think.
It still hasn't been released yet? No.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it hasn't been released. They're behind their game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But it's actually really good. And an example of how I know we've had some examples of like reboots that have gone poorly.
The reboot. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Was that ever going to go well though?
You never know, man.
I mean, I guess it's possible,
but this just really goes to show you how a reboot can be done well.
That's good.
And actually improve upon the source material.
See, that's cool. Do you need to have watched the original to enjoy the reboot?
Well, it's a prequel, isn't it?
It is a prequel, so you don't need to have. Granted, the movie kind of just throws a bunch of things at you without really explaining anything.
Oh, okay. So like it's recommended. I know you can watch the original on Netflix, so it's not like you have to go out of your way to get it. But I was just curious if I could just watch it.
Yeah, no, you can definitely just watch it. I think you would still get a lot of enjoyment out of it. I really don't think you need to be familiar with how things end. And actually, it's gonna be very telling, I think, if you watch how things end, especially if they decide to, moving forward, not make any major changes to the story, which I don't think they want to do. I think they want to leave the end how it happens. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting just to see how they tackle it. It definitely seems like they're going to make a second season.
Okay.
I don't know if it's been officially announced yet, but I don't see why they wouldn't, considering the sheer amount of money they invested in this thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is Netflix though. They also canceled the OA.
It is.
So.
Yeah,
that's true.
Say, you never know what they'll actually keep renewing.
Yeah.
But the OA, I feel like, even then, is not nearly as expensive as a show to produce as this was.
True enough. Mm-hmm. Like, just the props alone must have just been such a crazy expense.
Everything. Every prop was handmade in this.
Yeah.
Every prop, every scene, every puppet, everything was handmade. They had to get all these very talented puppeteers to come in and do it, and then record voiceover on top of that.
Yeah.
And the voiceover had to happen in line with what the puppets had already done, because you can't just go back and change the mouth movements in post like you can for animation.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason that shows aren't made like this generally. Generally.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but they still did an amazing job with it. And if you do watch it, I highly recommend checking out the documentary they released on the making of it.
Oh, I would actually. I'm actually more interested in that. I'll be honest.
Is that also on Netflix or?
It is. In fact, it auto played as soon as I got through the last episode.
Okay. Is it just kind of like tacked onto the season then?
Kind of. I think it is separate, but I don't know. Whatever their queue up thing, it acted as if it was part of the season.
Okay. Well, I will check. I will probably check that out for sure, even if I don't end up watching the Dark Crystal.
I would recommend at least starting to watch it. And if you like the show, finish the show first, because you are going to get some spoilers.
Oh, okay.
In the documentary, it's definitely not spoiler free. It's not anything major. I think
there's like characters and set pieces that you might see later, sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay. So I would at least watch like the first 3 or 4 episodes, which it's only, I think, 10 episodes long anyway. Yeah.
Is the story good? Again, this is coming from someone who's never seen the original or anything, so I'm going off of blank slate.
Yeah, I actually thought the story was better told than the original.
Ooh, okay.
Granted, they had essentially like 5 movies worth of content that they were able to produce over the course of these episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a lot more time to handle it than the movie ever had.
Yeah.
But they stay faithful to the source. But they basically said, hey, how can we expand on this universe and how can we add to it rather than necessarily trying to make something new using the IP?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Netflix has actually been really nailing the remakes recently. I've been giving them a lot of flack, but the remake game has been pretty on point recently.
Yeah, they can have that.
Yeah,
exactly. This was just a very solid one. My few minor complaints with it is one of their decisions to use a lot of kind of hand like shaky camera shots.
Oh, okay.
They actually, as part of what they released in the documentary, apparently every single scene had 2 cameras recording it, a kind of hand shaky camera and a steady camera.
Oh, all right. That's a weird choice for a puppet movie. I don't know. To me, it sounds like maybe it makes more sense like when you actually see it, but
yeah, and it might have just made editing easier.
Yeah,
but,
maybe like I think makes them seem more like they're in motion if the camera's shaking, sort of thing.
Yeah, and they did use bits of CGI. It's not 100%. Like just the puppets and the acting. There's a lot of like editing that went in afterward and a few small CGI sequences, but usually it's for when motion is happening very, very fast, and you can't even really tell the difference between it. So
that seems like what CGI should be for, right? Like especially for something that's not. This is one other thing I wish I could shake a bunch of anime companies for, where it's just like CGI in an animation to me seems like something that should accent, not like take over. Yeah. Unless that's what you were going for in the beginning. Like if the whole thing is 3D, then whatever. Like that go crazy. But like I absolutely hate it when when shows just throw in some CG just for no reason that I can see. Like I think the best use of it is just like, oh hey, this is a crowd of people. That would be a lot of mana hours for a not super important set piece. Let's just put CG people there. These are cars that aren't important to the story. They're just a transportation vehicle that is in the background. Let's make these CG. That seems to be like what CG should be.
Yeah, and that's mostly what it's used for here.
Crowds, yeah. I was gonna say CG crowds in anime look like garbage like all the time.
They do, but that's the thing is like it doesn't matter. That's the thing is like it's maybe they look like garbage, but like my enjoyment of a show has never been impacted in any noticeable degree because like the CG crowd is bad.
Yeah, but anyway, I highly recommend this. Definitely, like even if you've never seen the original movie, especially if you just like kind of high fantasy stories, it's not like the typical, it's not 100% the typical like high fantasy like chosen one story where you go and you collect all the things, and it's got aspects of that, but I never felt it was the focus of the show.
Okay, all right, I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, so that's I guess my big recommendation for the week here.
All right, but out of how many bebops you think?
Out of how many bebops?
Yeah, how many bebops you give it?
You know, it's hard to say because Cowboy Bebop was one of my favorite. My favorite anime.
Yeah.
But you know, I think I would give this at least a Bebo.
A Bebo Bebop?
A Bebo?
Yeah, Bebo Bebop.
Bebo out of Bebop.
Heck, maybe even like a B bowl.
B bowl.
Like, just a little bit of the P got like
just like
off
you
there.
you cut off the little C at the end of the P. Is a B bowl.
Yep, B bowl.
Oh my god. movie of the year or TV show of the year.
TV show. Yeah, no, it's. I thought it was quite solid.
Very cool. I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah, I might. I don't know for sure.
It's been honestly probably one of my favorite Netflix original things now.
Cool.
Probably up there with like Stranger Things and Dragon Prince probably.
Yeah,
as some of my favorite Netflix original content.
Dragon Prince is hard to top for me nowadays. After season 2, it's a really hard ask.
Yeah.
I love Dragon Prince. I'm so looking forward to more Dragon Prince.
Me too.
Yes, I just want them to announce when.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Give me that season 3.
Instead, they were like, "We're making all this side content, and I think they said they're making a game or something like that." And all this.
Just give me the fucking show. I don't care about your side content.
Yo.
Don't bother building the world. We already have a world.
The world's already there.
Exactly.
But anyway, so I watched a movie that came out recently for a show that I have a very rocky relationship with. Yeah, the Steven Universe movie.
Yeah, how was it?
It was good. All right, moving on.
Good talk.
Good talk. No, but it was all right. It had some parts I liked and some parts I didn't. For one, if you haven't seen the series, it spoils the end of the series. Or, sorry, I guess it's not over. I thought the series was over, but apparently this movie is just like a prelude to another season, I guess.
Huh.
Yeah. So, so my relationship to Steven Universe is, for the most part, I really enjoyed the first 3 seasons. I thought they were very, it became one of my favorite shows of all time, in those first 3 seasons. And then season 4, they did nothing for a whole season, and that was just kind of happened. And then season 5, they threw it in the toilet and then lit the toilet on fire. That was,
good.
Yeah, basically, there's some things in the show that I liked. Even in season 5, there were some parts, but I think the major issue is that they the show has this really bad habit of trying to turn all the villains into good guys. So, like, an antagonist will show up, they'll sing at the antagonist, and then the antagonist will be like, oh, okay, I guess I'm not bad now.
But unless it's like that guy who, hit on that girl.
Hey, even he came around. Actually, in season 5, they didn't sing at him, but he swung around too.
So, good.
Yeah, so even him, even if you commit the cardinal sin of hitting on a woman, and also being an asshole, even if you commit those cardinal sins, you can be redeemed. So, thanks, Steven Universe, for that. But I think the major thing about the movie that I really liked is one. Well, I'm not a huge fan of musicals. I think I've said before, but the music in this was very good. It's a musical, and the music is. I really enjoyed the music. The animation was pretty good. There was some parts that, like, it definitely fluctuates, but like there's some parts, especially when there's a character, the villain of the movie called Spinel. Every time she's on screen, it's amazing because they give her like this 1920s, 1930s animated aesthetic. Like she has like the Cuphead like wacky movements going on. Like she can stretch super far and like inflate parts of her body and things.
Yeah.
And like every time she's on screen, you can tell the animators had an absolute blast because she's just jumping all over the place and just like just having a crazy good time. And then she has like this weird like kooky. She's like if Mickey Mouse went like evil sort of aesthetic. So like she just looks really cool. Like every time she's on screen, she's amazing, and her songs are the best songs in the movie. So like that's probably the best part is like whenever like Spinell's great. She's like the rest of it's a movie, I guess. Like it exists. The songs are good. It's one of those movies where it's like let's go back. Like it's like to give a little synopsis. This character Spinell shows up. And then some things happen, and the main cast lose their memories.
And
then the rest of the movie is just singing until they get their memories back, basically. So like that's where I'm like, oh, okay, it's just kind of at that point. But like but like when you like get into like the actual songs and stuff, you're just having a good time. So I would recommend it if you've seen Steven Universe. Even if you haven't, honestly, if you don't care about spoilers, I'd say it's worth a watch just for the music.
All right.
I don't know. I was gonna say I think I've been tuned out of Steven Universe since like the Jailbreak arc.
Yeah. Oh, so like season 1.
Season 1.
Yeah. I will say the beginning of the movie gives a synopsis of the whole series. So even if you don't know even if you don't know much about Steven Universe, they explain it really like via song. They explain basically the whole series. I'm assuming for people who haven't seen it, who just do they want to watch it. I will. Okay, so after this podcast, I'll link you to a song with Spinell just so you get to see what I'm talking about with her. It won't spoil anything, but I really enjoyed the song with her because she's a great character. But yeah, nice. That's Steven Universe is a show. It exists.
Yeah.
Now I've got a movie.
Very lukewarm. The fan base is trash sometimes. The Reddit fan base especially is garbage. Don't go to Reddit. Don't go to our Steven Universe. You'll have a bad time.
Yeah. Duly noted.
So, anybody play the games?
Yeah, I have played a game actually.
Okay.
I'll briefly mention I gave up on the Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky.
Oh, really? Oh, damn. Okay.
It's not that the game was bad, it's just I'm bad at games.
Oh, okay. See, isn't that the worst though? Like,
yeah.
Man, this is a great game that I just can't play.
Yeah. I guess it's mainly just that it's got me in a sequence now where I can't really go and like farm a bunch to
and
level
like
up.
You're like under leveled for the part you're at and you can't level up.
Well, I think I'm supposed to be this level. I just am either getting very unlucky or I don't know, like maybe I just don't understand the strategy of this boss fight because I tried it several times and I just couldn't do it. The boss has too many effects that impair your entire party and you can only at most block 2 of them.
Oh, okay.
Based on items that you equip on your characters. And he then also has an ability to just heal a third of his health.
Oh, you were telling me about this.
Yup. And then he also has an ability to just basically deal half your health and damage. If he uses either of those, you're just screwed, pretty much. Like, I mean, yeah, you can survive, but it's just, how long are you going to drag out the battle at that point?
Yeah, like you're just in a war of attrition at that point.
Yeah, and I one time got him down to like 100 health left, and then he used his like third heal ability, and then he used it immediately again after, and I was like,
so
okay,
you're just like, fuck this.
That's when I just said, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done.
I wonder if there's like some, I don't know, it's some like obscure moon logic JRPG thing where you can like somehow cancel his healing.
Yeah, it's something like you have to cast Cure on him or something. It'll be that type of deal.
The issue is that he has a really high speed because it's 1 against 3. Mm-hmm. So how they compensate for that is they give him insanely high speed, so he can usually do like 2 moves or something like that, 2 to 3 moves for each 1 move of everybody else. So he just will sometimes cast a spell and then immediately, because you have to prepare a spell and then you cast it. Mm-hmm. So he has to prepare the healing spell. But the issue is if you either don't have the like resource points to cancel it, which you need to get by attacking him, or if for whatever reason he just doesn't give you an opportunity because his speed is so high that he just prepares it and immediately casts it and you don't ever have a chance, there's just nothing you can do. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that boss was just complete BS, and I said, I'm done. I'm close enough to the end of the game. I'm in the final sequence. There's probably only like, I don't know. I mean, it's a JRPG, so probably 2 to 3 boss fights left after that.
Okay, so you've gotten...
probably all together, yeah.
You've gotten enough of the game where you can form a really good impression of it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And up until that point, I was really enjoying the game. I put probably like 30, 40 hours into that game, maybe more than 40 hours. I'm not 100% certain, but... Mm-hmm. I felt like I had a pretty good grasp of the game at that point. I finally figured out how all the magic systems worked to a certain extent. It's just that fight killed it for me.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, that does sound like a JRPG, I'll be honest.
Oh, yeah.
That's very not atypical of JRPGs. Mm-hmm.
It's part of my love-hate relationship with JRPGs. Yeah. I play a ton of them, but it's just...
Same. It's... You know, it's so common, like, the random difficulty spikes are so common in JRPGs that I feel like I'm not at all surprised. Like...
Yeah. But anyway, moving from that JRPG onto a different one, I started playing this last week, Ys 8, Lacrimosa.
Oh, okay.
Apparently it's not Dana, it's apparently Dana. Because they pronounce all the A's that way. And that's when I learned, because this game actually has voice acting, that apparently it's not Adel Kristen, it's Adel Kristen, at least according to this set of voice actors.
Yeah, Tyler, how can you...
I know, right?
You mix up that very obvious detail that was obvious.
This game that's only ever been text for like 7 games at this point. And then finally added voice acting into the 8.
It was such an obvious detail. They didn't need voices, Tyler.
Yeah.
They just assumed everyone would get it.
Yeah. This game, though, I can see why it has mixed reviews, but this game feels like it was made for me.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's got, like, everything that I want in the game. It's not, like, overly challenging. It's got a good amount of, like, challenge to it. Some of the bosses have a bit more health than I would like, because it just, your hands get tired. Mm-hmm. Constantly dodging and stuff like that, but overall, it's not too bad.
All right.
Difficulty wise, but the big thing is it's a huge exploration game.
Oh, okay. So you can just
it's all about finding everything, filling out the map, finding all the treasures, eventually getting all the abilities you need to reach every part of the map. And then it also has a town and various other parts of the map that progress as the story progresses.
That's
so
cool.
You'll actually see the things you do having an impact on the island and on the town that you're kind of helping with in that game.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, this game kind of hits every single mark. And the story, I mean, it's pretty typical JRPG. It's fine.
It's definitely not the focus. This is serviceable.
It's serviceable. Yeah.
Get you to from point A to point B sort of thing.
Pretty much. But yeah, the cool things are just how the island changes and interacts, and the exploration, just finding and seeing everything on the island, is really where the fun comes in, I think, in the game.
Okay. It may not be my kind of game, but I can definitely see why you would like it. It sounds like very Tyler.
It sounds
game.
like your thing.
Oh yeah, it's 100% like my game. Like it felt like it was basically tailor made for me. So like, I can see how again it wouldn't appeal to everybody, but honestly, the other thing, East games have always had, I thought, as far as action JRPGs go, pretty solid fight mechanics. Like it always feels pretty polished. Like you never feel that things were completely unfair when enemies are attacking you. You always have a chance to dodge, and then you feel rewarded for doing well at the same time, but not entirely overly punished for making a small misstep.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
So yeah, I like it. If you like exploration games, and if you like JRPGs, this game very well might be for you. Especially if you liked previous games in the East series, you would probably like this one, particularly like the previous 3D East games.
I don't know which ones are 3D and which ones are 2D, I'll be honest.
I think just about everything after the second one is 3D-ish.
All right.
I think so, because the first two games are the ones where they had the bump system in it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went a little more kind of the action JRPG style where you're like doing... It feels more like... like Tales of Berseria kind of combat.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. That actually sounds more my speed. See, I was always under the impression it was like a top-down game for some reason. Like,
the first two were.
Okay, that's probably why.
And I think some of the other ones were a little more top-down, but still they started moving in this direction. But this one's a full, like, over-the-shoulder...
Yeah, full-on action RPG. Like
full-on action RPG for this one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it might be a little more your speed for that, but
yeah, I mean, I do like action RPGs. I'm not huge into like overly explory games. Like, I don't mind exploration in games, but like if it gets to the point where I'm like, it's just too much. There's definitely I definitely have a limit on exploration games. Like, I don't like having to go through every corner of the map. I'm the exact opposite. This always pissed Austin off whenever we play games together. I'm not a completionist in games. I'm in it for my personal experience. I'm not in it for like the accolades. I don't really care about getting everything in games. Like, I just want to like have fun with a game. So
yeah.
This game will lead you. It for the most part, it doesn't force you to explore. It will lead you everywhere you need to go for the story.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the exploration stuff is, I'm pretty sure, purely optional.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, rewarded often by some of the better items in the game, but you don't have to do it, strictly speaking. So
yeah.
But I don't know why you would pick up this kind of game if that's not what you're into.
Your thing. Yeah, like
you don't
why would you pick up this? Like, oh, I picked up this game. I hate exploring.
Yeah,
I picked up Farming Simulator, but you know what? I hate agriculture. I hate it a lot. Don't like agriculture.
Really.
Why did I buy this?
This game also has a little bit of like the kind of Metroidvania kind of exploring where you need the right items to get places. So they really do kind of lock down where you can go.
See, I almost kind of like when a game can do that because
I like that more than
between playing
just
Divinity.
exploration.
Yeah, I was gonna say between playing Divinity and the other one that comes to mind when you guys were talking exploring is Shadow of Mordor. When I played it, that game doesn't really bar anything off from you for the most part. Like either of those games, so you can just like walk into a clusterfuck.
Yeah, see, I don't like that as much.
I don't like that. Well, I think I told you, Trey. I remember when I was playing Shadow of Mordor, I was like, yeah, I spent the first hour just dying over and over, and then I was like, hey, maybe I should stop running cock first into the Uruk-hai camp.
Yeah, maybe.
Meanwhile, Divinity, it's like, hey, I just took 3 successful steps, mashing autosave.
That sounds right.
You see, I also love that kind of exploration game where
I like the Zelda Metroid personally, where like things are locked off until you get other things that you can explore other places. Like I like that mostly.
Zelda's been going away from that though, like
they have
especially
been. They definitely,
in like Link Between Worlds, and I guess Link Between Worlds has like a.
You can do the rental thing in Link Between Worlds at least. So if you want a sequence break, you can't sequence break in air quotes.
Yeah, they have kind of a recommended route, I guess.
Yeah, they definitely. And like, I liked exploration in Breath of the Wild, so it's not like I'm isolated to like. But I also like the idea of like having places where you're like, oh, I'm gonna come back here later, and then on the way I'm gonna beat up all this shit that was giving me trouble earlier.
Yeah,
I fucking love that in games. I love it when you go back to areas that that gave you trouble, and then now you're just like out leveled or just better than them.
All of a sudden when you're like, that's what I like more so.
That's a great feeling. I think Majora's Mask did it really well. Where like after you like you get your shit kicked in by Skull Kid, and then you like get the fierce deity mask, and you're just like, "Hey, what's up?"
Heard you was talking shit.
Slap the mask on and just like kill him in 2 hits, and you're like,
Boy, I'm slap the mask off you.
This was worth me This was worth me getting all the masks and everything else in the game.
Yeah. I will say though, I do love the like feeling when you do like, I don't know, you take your time and you slowly sneak past like a bunch of enemies and all that stuff, and then you get rewarded by an item that is like way more powerful than you were intended to have at that point, but they don't prevent you from getting it.
It's like it's definitely, it is intentional that you could get it, but like they're like, oh well, most people won't get this though.
Yes, it's not the intended route, but they're not locking it off.
That's nice.
That's the kind of stuff I like in games. This game doesn't do it. East does not do that, but
but I enjoy it when it happens. Are you listening to developers?
Games do it.
But speaking of games, Dan, you've been playing anything? You've been playing some games?
I played a little bit of Divinity still. I've been playing through. I did a little bit, like Tyler was mentioning, the Dan Steam Bath.
Yeah, no, you stole my shit.
Well, no, I just have a few games in my backlog, and at this point, I should play something besides continuing to play Divinity and playing through 3 Houses again. And I got... Actually, this is kind of relevant again, because I did try this last week to play through a game, and I don't know why I can't play this game, guys. Like, I wish I could give you an answer, but to celebrate the official cancellation of memes with Sans Undertale.
I know this. Yeah, Sans Undertale is now in Smash.
So memes are canceled. But
memes are canceled. So Undertale, try it again.
Yeah, I should lead in. I think we might have even talked about it on the podcast before. I've tried to play Undertale like a few times now. I downloaded it years ago. Yeah. I don't know why I still can't. I don't know why I don't like that game.
Is it just like the bullet hell nature of it, or that you don't like, or?
It's not even that. It's just like, I don't know. Especially because, well, there's a little bit of stuff with it. I won't try and spoil too much, but like I didn't go into it going like, oh, I'm gonna play like a route, like you can do pacifist genocide type deal.
Yeah.
But I very much got the feeling when you start playing, it's like, oh, hey, why would I want to kill these monsters? So I kind of defaulted to doing pacifist. Except for it just isn't clear sometimes what you're supposed to do, especially with the bosses and pacifist route.
That is true. This is true. I will admit I killed Undyne once.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, well,
I killed Laurel as well. I killed both.
Yeah.
And the game remembered I killed them too, which was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's the thing. It does.
Very good at that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
which
like you reset and it's like, oh, you killed L'Oreal, didn't you? And it's like, wait, oh no, stop.
Why do you
I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to do it.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Well, and that's like, because again, with spoiling it a little bit, I got to, I think it's one of the papyrus fights where it's like, oh yeah, you're supposed to let him kill you, and I'm like, how am I supposed to know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I get that, like, you save 5 seconds before you walk over there, but I'm like, okay, how am I supposed to know that? So I was like, all right, fine. I just want to beat it at this point. And then I looked up and it's like, oh, you can only do the pacifist route on your second playthrough. I was like, yeah, okay, guess I'm not playing this then.
Oh, yeah, that's not technically true, but
you can't. It's like true pacifist or whatever it's called.
Yeah, well, okay, so you can, so that's not technically untrue, but that's also misleading. There's a person you can't save until your second playthrough, but you don't have to fight. You don't have to do any of the previous fights. You basically just go straight to that person. Is it the second playthrough of the game is just a continuation of the first playthrough. It's not a like redo. Mm-hmm. Like you're not going to be redoing anything. You're just going to you're just going to fast travel to that area, and then all of a sudden you're just doing more things. Mm-hmm. So I didn't mean to like just correct you.
No, you're
that's
fine.
That's not. Yeah, it's
Again,
not.
It's very misleading. After I read it off a wiki thing, and I was just like, yeah, it's a little bit of that, but
playthrough 2 is not a playthrough 2. It's a playthrough like 0.2. Like, you're just walking from one area then straight to the true ending.
Yeah, which I mean, like, yeah. So I don't know. It's just like, it's stuff like that. It's just very, again, the papyrus fight being like, oh yeah, no, that time you're supposed to let him kill you, and I was like, okay, but
yeah.
I
agree. There's some stuff that's very it's not telegraphed very easily, especially especially if you're going like true pacifist and you haven't hit the attack button a single time the entire playthrough. Like this is what really bugs me. This one really and it's spoilers for Undertale. Do you care, Dan?
No, I don't care.
There are some. It's a minor spoiler, but it's the Asgore, the person you're trying to fight. You're supposed to fight at the end of the game. You can't spare him. Even on true pacifist, you have to beat him with a. But that's completely antithetical. I think the way they try and emphasize it is that he destroys the spare button when he starts the fight. So like they're like, oh, there's no way to spare him because there's no spare button. But at that point in the game, you're like, man, I haven't attacked a single thing this whole game. Like, there's got to be another way to do this.
My first fight with him, I still did not attack him.
Yeah, and then he'll kill you, and then you'll just this happened to me too. I didn't attack him the whole fight. I'm like, oh, okay, that must be misleading, right? Because like I haven't had to attack anything this entire game. So, and then Asgore, and then I think that's like one of the worst. That's probably the worst bit of game design in that entire game. Is this like you teach the player for like 10 hours or something not to attack anything, and then you just make them attack something. Like
and it's like all of a sudden now you have to do it. It's it's
I think it was on purpose. Obviously it was like you can't talk your way out of this situation sort of stuff, but like I don't think that's good design. But like I agree with you, like that game can be very obtuse when it doesn't not unnecessarily obtuse. I just really liked like the message of the game. I did really enjoy the characters, so that's kind of like where I went.
Don't get me wrong, I like a good meta narrative every now and then. Which I think it's kind of what I like, and I mean it's Toby Fox. The music's a banger.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Absolute
that's why I think that's more than anything why I almost justified buying the game. But
like that's if you're gonna play the game, like even if you don't play the game, listen to that soundtrack, yo.
Yes.
Toby Fox, Toby Fox, make a soundtrack for my life, please.
No.
Yo.
Which, on that same tangent, to bring it back, man, that new Megalovania remix for Smash.
Smash is it's great.
Yep,
it's great. I mean, even I see. Here's the real thing. When an indie dev gets Nintendo's attention, because like they had him make the most of the music for that other game. They showed at the I can't remember the name of it, but there was like a
it's
like
Game
an
Freaks
RPG.
games.
Yeah, it's a Game Freak game. Yeah. But Toby Fox made
Hero or something.
Yes, Toby Fox made most of the music for that game. It's like even Nintendo's got their eye on this guy.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's good music, and it is very reminiscent of some of the older games, especially games like, I don't know, like, it reminds me a lot of, like, older Nobuo Uematsu music, like early Final Fantasy, or
early
Chrono Trigger,
Mega Man,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot of those early kind of Super Nintendo in particular games.
He really has like the touch for that. Like he's one of those guys where like he's like Nobuo Uematsu, where it's like you hear it and you're like, this is gonna be a classic, isn't it? Like you hear that, you hear like the beginnings of Bone Trussell, and you're like, yeah, this is gonna be a thing, isn't this?
This is it. We've made it. Yeah, it's like I said, I think, again, Undertale, to kind of bring it back, it might be one of those games I really, really just wish I liked, but...
It's unfortunate. I wish you could enjoy it, but I definitely understand where you're coming from.
I will say, at the very least, in Deltarune, I don't remember them pulling any of that stuff. It seemed
they don't, but Deltarune's also very short, so...
Yeah, it is. Deltarune I messed around a bit with, and I liked it, but...
supposed to be like part 1 or whatever.
Yeah, it's like the intro. It's like the prologue to the actual.
Yeah.
I also want to know what the fuck's going on with that town. Why is everybody from Undertale there?
Yeah.
Toby Fox, please release.
Not to mention that freaking ending. But,
what the hell was that ending?
No, and like again, I messed around with Deltarune. And I like Deltarune, but
I think Deltarune had a way better combat system. I thought Deltarune was way better. I like the party system a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I definitely think he made a decent amount of improvements for Deltarune.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure some people are not gonna like the whole like it's more interesting because you have to figure out how to like do the pacifist run in Undertale, but
but I mean, again, if it's
you want to do the same thing over again, though, right?
You don't really want to.
I guess my big thing it boils down to.
Yeah,
my big thing still is I just like I hate when a game makes me go through trial and error of like dying over and over to reload.
I agree with that a lot.
It's the same reason I think that I still am bitter at like XCOM is like, okay, I shouldn't have to just die multiple times to know when I'm actually supposed to or something.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's a valid criticism of both XCOM and Undertale. I think that's a very valid criticism of those games.
Yeah. But there you go. There was the hot take again. I like everything for the Undertale except the game, I guess.
Except for that's so sad.
I know.
I love everything about this game except for the game portion of it.
Well, I mean, it's like the same reason. I've said it before. It's the same reason I'll never buy Cuphead is because it's like that's a really cool game. I like the aesthetic. I love the music. I'm not going to take the time to be good at that game.
Never going to touch this game. Yeah. It's just way too too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
so before we sign off, I guess I'll put my game 2 cents in. I played a JRPG this week. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on it because it's an old game, but Grandia. Anybody ever played that game?
I have not.
Okay, they released the HD remake on Switch for 1 and 2. I just picked it up. It's like $40, I think. Grandia, I played on the PSP, actually. There's a PSP port. It's a PS1 game originally. And, man, that game gives me such a nostalgia like, it's got a very, it's got a very, like old Miyazaki feel, like Castle in the Sky vibes. You get very heavy Castle in the Sky vibes when you play this game. And it's just about a couple 3 characters just going on an adventure. Like, there's an ancient civilization, and this character wants to be an adventurer, so he runs away from home with a girl, and they're just gonna go on this adventure to find this ancient civilization. So if that sounds familiar to you,
Yep.
yeah. But like, it just, man, they nail the aesthetic so well. Like, they just nail the like feel of that like adventurous spirit, like really, really well. Like, you just want to, like, it gives you like this wanderlust, this really, really like strong wanderlust. At least it did for me. I don't know if that's just like nostalgia creeping through because I played it all like years ago. But it's just very like very good character. I think it's a good characterization for the main characters where you're like, man, I really want these characters to succeed in whatever they're doing. And it's not like a complicated story. Like, as far as I can tell, I never beat it. I intend to beat it now, but it's not a super complex story, but it is a very competently told story.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
yeah, it's just very. Also, I think one thing that's cool, and I wish more games would do it, is the main characters are very chatty with NPCs. Like, you talk to an NPC, and the main characters will actually talk to them like a lot. Like everybody in the town you start on, everybody, your character knows everybody in that town, so like you're talking to them, and like as the days progress, like things will change, and it'll be like the characters will notice that and they'll talk about it. Like, and they also talk to each other mid conversation. Like, they'll be like it'll be like two characters talking to one character, and then the main character will say something, and then the other smaller character, the girl character, will like say something else, like sort of like needling him a little bit, and then he'll just be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, you're right." And I'm like, I don't know, it just feels really real.
Yeah.
Like, if that makes sense. Like, it feels like you're actually
more natural. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels
like
really
that.
natural, and like basically every NPC in the game, as far as I can tell, it has that sort of interaction where like you can talk to them multiple times and they'll say different things. And then your main characters will always pipe in because they're the ones having the conversations. So I don't know. It's something that must have taken a lot of work, but it definitely feels good. Also, it's got an interesting battle system. It's a top-down, not an action RPG, but a top-down, very position-oriented. You can interrupt enemies by attacking before them. It doesn't explain itself super well, but it's not like the most complicated battle system in the world. But I definitely would recommend checking it out, especially if you just want to get like that sort of nostalgic, like, adventure vibes. Also, I hear the second one is very good. I've never played it, but I hear the second one is fantastic. So, if older JRPGs are something that interests anybody, I would recommend them. I think they're underrated gems, honestly.
Yeah. Well, Trey, you have just signed away another like probably 80 hours of my life. So
there you go.
And I'm sure there'll be things that I don't like. There's already things I don't like about it. Like, it's obviously an older game, so there's some older game things. Like, one, the camera controls, like the angle of the camera is not ideal, I think, and even the game seems to know it because there's like spots where you can zoom the camera out. And like there's parts of the games that I don't enjoy. The dungeons can be kind of samey sometimes. Like, they don't really feel like I don't have a ton of fun exploring the dungeons that I've been through so far. But like, it's not bad. It's just like they're not like super clever with the puzzles or anything. At least so far. Maybe it gets better later. So just go in knowing that it is an older game. It has some older game kinks that you have to go through. Like, there's some stuff you have to like work through. But man. I just really love that game. It's just so like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like it hits that nostalgic feeling for me, where it's just a simple adventure story about some like some kids and teenagers just going on a journey across the continent to a
ancient
like a nice
civilization. No nonsense thing. I like that. I dig that.
Yeah. Maybe I've just been having too many complex stories recently, but like the idea of this simple story about adventure just really speaks to me, especially once they introduce a third character who's also an adventurer, and she's great. She's fantastic. I just love the dynamic between the three characters, just like wanting to be on an adventure together.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Right? Like,
sounds like my type of game.
It's just like, oh man, I just wanted these characters to be together and have fun forever.
Yeah.
And like, you know what? Something big's probably gonna happen. They're gonna find the civilization and activate a doomsday device or some shit. But you know what?
Yeah,
I'll
one
along
of
for
them's
the
gonna turn
ride.
out to be half dragon or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like, some shit's gonna go down where, like, it starts off simple and it's gonna turn out to be, like, some end of the world scenario. But
yeah, JRPG.
Yeah, it's a JRPG. They're gonna kill God at the end, you know how it goes.
Yeah.
Kill and or become.
Yeah, kill and or become God at the end, you know. You know how it goes.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But, yep, it's on Switch, and those games are very good handheld. I will say, the English voice acting is atrocious, but they give you the Japanese option. But if you want,
Alright,
I will also say, though, if you want, like, that classic feel, the classic JRPG feel, the English voice acting actually kind of gives me that sort of, like, it's like, it's just, it looks old and it sounds bad, so kind of feels right. But they do give you the option for the Japanese voice acting, so you can get the good voice acting too if you're not and you can switch anytime you restart the game. You can switch. So you're not locked into one.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was my contribution to the game pile.
The game pile. That's what.
Yeah.
Is that what we're calling this part of the podcast now?
The game pile. Yeah.
Look at this pile of games. Where are we going to put them all?
Where are we going to put them? Where are we going to put them all?
Yeah,
we would need like at least 2 floppy disks to fit all these games.
At least,
yeah.
Yeah, at least. But
man,
yeah, I think that puts a bow on it. We got our game pile.
Up. Yeah, got the game pile.
And our game pile.
Yeah, and as always, get out of my dorm. I'm a collegiate man. Get out of here.
Love you, dumpster goblins.
Yeah, I still don't have an end thing.